and you're in for a really good treat. Ivelin is from Canada, and this is someone that's he's an engineer by heart, a hacker by night, a family man by day. He's designed over 100 different products in his time. He's actually successfully launched 25 different Kickstarter projects, and by launch, I mean actually funded them and actually delivered them. You know, a lot of people on Kickstarter never deliver, or it takes them. I'm waiting on a Kickstarter thing right now from 5 years ago that they still keep sending updates on. But he's actually delivered them. He really enjoys doing just tinkering and like going under the hood and like finding advanced topics and out of the box things to do. He's got his own mastermind group, his own events that he does. So today, Ivelin's here to show you 3 really cool ways to increase traffic to your Amazon listing, 3 out-of-the-box ways that you probably haven't even thought about. That's just going to really, hopefully, help you in your business. So, Ivelin, welcome, man. I'm super excited to see your presentation.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks so much for inviting me. Hello, everyone. So, I will give you 3 of my strategies on increasing traffic, and not only traffic, but actually traffic that helps you with ranking. So in this presentation, I'll tell you a little bit about me, how I discovered the contextual ranking using Amazon, how to properly generate the token and the pin so that you can use Pinterest for ranking. Then I'll show you step-by-step how to create beautiful clickable pins so that you can share this strategy with your VAs and make them create unique pins, because this is what Pinterest likes to have. Then the second strategy I'll show you is how to use Reddit for driving massive traffic and interest to your brand and product. And lastly, I'll show you how to create a landing page on Kickstarter so that you can be invited by many online magazines, gadget marketplaces, and journalists, and you also hopefully you can get a lot of orders from retailers from all over the world. And of course, if you're interested in this process, because this is not a very simple process, but I was assured that this audience is from advanced sellers, 7-8 figures. So sellers like this, you just need a hint sometimes to make a big change in your business. So this is what I'm gonna do today. So if you're interested in this methodology, I also had developed a book which I can share with you. It's completely free, nothing to sell here, just so that I can give you my process in the blueprint format, so that you can easily generate these ideas and improve your products. All right, so let's start with the first one. A little bit about me. I was born in Bulgaria, now live in Canada. I have a mechanical engineer's degree in industrial design, and I've been developer since I was 12. So I combined the two now and develop my own products and my own softwares. And I developed over 100 custom products that never existed before, or like a remake of an existing product. And on Kickstarter, I created over 25 projects, which 9 of them are personal projects. And you can go and Google my name, and you'll see them all because they're still on Kickstarter. And a lot of them, they're now retarded, like they're dead products. But I've sold like hundreds of thousands of these products on Amazon after my Kickstarter projects were completed. And it's been 12 years now since I sell on Amazon. So this is, for example, one of my books that it's been a bestseller on and off from 2014, and it started as a Kickstarter project. You can find it on Amazon, and it's been used even in colleges and all over the world, in schools to teach kids, and not only kids, but even adults programming using Python and JavaScript. I'm also one of the top consultants on Clarity. I enjoy talking to sellers a lot. and helping others, and I also learn a lot from others. And sometimes I help people so much that they end up making millions even on Kickstarter. I've been invited by Bob Costa, basically the inventor of a scene on TV, and I presented with him live on stage. And my inventions and my products are all over the internet on all kinds of gadget websites and so on. Plus, I, of course, sell them on Amazon. So how I know this stuff, I already told you, like I talk to a lot of smart people, and I read a lot of code every day, and I enjoy also reading patents, because nowadays when you start inventing something, it's almost for sure that already someone invented it already. So I have to make sure that you actually invented something, and that's why I'm reading a lot of patents. Plus, you can learn a lot from them, from others. All right, so let's start with Pinterest. So many of you have heard Pinterest became, like maybe a few years ago, become like the main source of traffic, and many sellers are using it for even for ranking purposes. But in the last few weeks, a lot of things changed regarding the TOS. So I had to redo this presentation, the strategy basically on Pinterest for this new TOS change. Hopefully for us, it's not affected, like it didn't affect the ranking as much, because Amazon was smart enough to switch from keyword-based ranking to contextual ranking. And Pinterest is helping a lot with increasing your relevance on the listings, enhanced ranking, and naturally get a lot of traffic from Google because it ranks so well on Google. So if we go back to the basics, sometimes as advanced sellers, we forget what exactly Amazon wants. Amazon wants only two things: is more sales from happy clients. But of course, searches on Amazon are limited, and they understand that. So you heard already from previous presentations that external traffic is extremely important nowadays. And this is where this presentation, the focus will be on external traffic only. All right, so how Amazon is getting traffic usually. They get traffic from shares, and they get traffic from affiliates. Both of these methods are giving you links that point to the Amazon listing, and when these links are ranked somewhere on Google, you're gonna get traffic from different places back to your Amazon listing or to a specific category on the marketplace. So Amazon, it's been known that it specializes in external traffic and user behavior for a long time, since they actually have bought Alexa.com. And they know everything that is to traffic, the quality of the links, and the audiences, and everything that you can think of about external traffic. So it's no surprise that they're actually using this to their advantage, and it's now incorporated in the algorithm so that they can avoid manipulation, because a lot of sellers start using all kinds of URLs, and they're including keywords in these URLs. And finally, Amazon released this new TOS when they tell us, please don't use keywords in the URLs. So no more hacking URLs. Like for us, we don't need to. All right, so basically, the name of the game is quality links back to your product in any form. As long as it's a quality link, it will help you rank, because Amazon realizes that this will give them external traffic, potential new clients, and more sales. So why Pinterest? So if you search for any keywords, like purchase intent keyword on Google, you'll realize that one of the top results is always Amazon, and in a lot of cases, it's a lot of Pinterest as well. And of course, Reddit. That's why I included this in the presentation. But a lot of times when you search for a product, it's either presented as an image on Pinterest because it's a visual platform, or people looking for reviews about this product on Reddit because they know on Reddit you have a lot of unsolicited, like unbiased opinion about, and a lot of times very critical, like very honest, basically, review. So that's what people need to know. And these two are ranking very well on Google, which is actually represents about 25% of all traffic going to Amazon. So if I go back a little bit on the Pinterest, maybe you remember how we had before, a few years ago, we can see how many shares we had on the listing, but this now disappeared since it became a big part of the algorithm. Because Amazon obviously doesn't want to give us a reference so that we can see how the competitors are doing versus us. But of course, there are other tools where we can check social media presence, where we can look like backlinks, for example, and figure out how is this competitor ranking so well without maybe even having a lot of reviews, and maybe the listing is not so much of a quality. And you can do a simple search like that using SEMrush, for example, and see what is the number of the backlinks pointing to that product. And in my groups, I asked this question once: why is nobody building links? But everybody knows that they're very important for ranking, and they're very important for the business in overall. And a lot of people responded that they don't know how to do links, and this is actually probably the easiest thing that you can do on a daily basis to create these links without knowing too much about SEO, without having to build websites and so on. So this is why Pinterest is perfect for this task. Like anyone can do it, and anyone can create a short video to their VAs explaining how to do it and leave it on an autopilot. So we mentioned already, Pinterest, number one reason is Pinterest ranks very well on Google, especially if you go to the images, to the image search. Almost always when it comes to product research, there is a Pinterest image in there. Images are quite compelling also on Pinterest. They're beautiful images, like a lot of lifestyle images. And the pins themselves also rank very well. A lot of boards, like collections of pins, also rank very well on Google. So we want to be there. So this is a simple, I'm going to show you like a simple approach how you can do this, how to research, how to structure the Pinterest. And actually I recorded a video already for you, and those who are interested in implementing Pinterest. It's a video that is addressing a VA, and it's already explaining all of that to them. So if you're interested, I'm just going to give you the video so that you can share it with your VAs and they can start doing this. So the first thing is, if you start searching on any product keyword on Pinterest, you will notice that a lot of them already have Amazon in them. Like there are a lot of searches that include Amazon as a keyword. As a matter of fact, a lot of people just browse Amazon and then they save this, something that they like, they save it to Pinterest. So let's go to the reasons, to other reasons why Pinterest is very interesting for us as Amazon sellers. So first of all, it's less of a social network. It's more like a search engine, which is also very visual. The half-life of pin is 3.5 months, very long compared to, let's say, a tweet or even a Facebook post. They have over 160 million monthly users to this search engine, and 9 of 10 people use Pinterest for purchase inspiration. The average time of Pinterest is one of the highest of all, about 14 minutes, and it's focused directly on people people looking to go to an external source. They're not looking for only the content that is on Pinterest. And 85% of users use on mobile, and we can see the correlation that 75% are using mobile also on Amazon. So it's an easy transition from one to the other. And people watch close to 1 billion videos now on Pinterest, which is, of course, is not a lot compared to TikTok, but it's still a lot. And the PPC platform on Pinterest is very well made, and you can laser target your audience compared to a lot of other platforms, including Amazon. You can, for example, select a gender or a salary or any of these others. You can't even choose if you want to target male or female, while Pinterest allows you to really laser target your audience. So all that is very good, but the main reason that Pinterest is very strong and interesting for us is what it's called a refer. And refer basically means, where is the buyer coming from? Is it coming from a search engine, or is it coming from a social platform? And the reason is, why it's so important to Amazon is they want to know was this customer captured, like their data being captured before landing on Amazon. Of course, if it's coming from social media, chances are higher. Like if you're coming from managed chat, they know maybe you already shared, email and other information, versus when it comes from a search engine, it's less likely that you shared your information. And you know how Amazon is secretive about the information that they share. They want to keep their clients to themselves. So social media means that basically review manipulation and cross-selling and stealing from Amazon, versus search engine means a buyer intent and long-term traffic for them. So basically all the benefits for Amazon are coming from a search engine. So the refer on Pinterest is it's so good. It's because Pinterest is regarded as a visual search engine. So this is how to create a rank pin step by step. First of all, you have to have a well-optimized account on Pinterest, which means you have to create your profile and everything. Then the second thing is Pinterest likes a unique exclusive content, which means you cannot find the same content in any other place on the internet. And then lastly, they want you to be consistent, basically a contributor that is contributing to the platform every single day. And of course, you have to have a great graphics or videos and everything that is grabbing the attention, and the correct URL structure, because you'll understand soon how exactly to generate this link that points back to your listing without using any keywords, of course. And of course, knowing your category and best time to pin is important, but it's not critical. And split testing your creatives and so on if you want to scale the game. All right. So the technical part of the pin. So you have to have an exclusive design, as I mentioned, which means images cannot be recognized by the search engine. Videos should be short, video appealing, graphics and colors, a nice format which occupies the most real estate space on the mobile. And then the pin answers the most important question is why this product is the best, why buy it, or it tells a story and brings some emotion, and of course give you a call to action. All right, so on account level, that's pretty simple. We all know how this works. You just need to go and fill in all the information, use the important keywords. And to help you get the important keywords, you just need to do this simple trick here. On the right side on the search, you're able to search by people or by board. And if you go through this, if searching your keywords, you will see how most ranked, basically the ones that show up front in the search for people, you will notice how they're structured, which keywords are used. And you're going to use this information to name your board similarly. And then, sorry, that was for the name. And then for the board, you do the same thing. You just go and look how boards are named. So you're going to notice that, like if you look for plant pots, for example, you're going to see that the order of the keywords matter. So you're going to have to use this, and short names of the boards tend to rank better than the others. So you just search for your niche and category, and you notice these things, and you just copy and apply them to yours. Then for the pin level, we're just going to use the exact same title and description that we have on Amazon, so that we can have the highest relevance of this pin to the Amazon listing. And so, for example, if this is taken directly from Amazon, this is the main image, and then we have the exact name and description, and you can do the exact bullet points and everything in place. And this is your link here. We're going to talk that a little bit. So I mentioned consistency is very important on Pinterest, and you notice the same thing with posts on Amazon. Amazon is collaborating with Pinterest a lot, and they copy from one another. And you will notice that it's exactly the same with the posts. Like, you don't have to skip doing the post. You have to be consistent so that you can get the most benefit. So for Pinterest, it's very important that you pin at least once a day, especially when you start. And then as you progress, you can gradually increase to up to 30 pins a day. Actually, Pinterest says that you can go up to 50 pins a day. But for most of us, this is already too much. And of course, quality matters, of quality of the pins, quality of the content and everything, which in this case is correlated to the listing of the Amazon, which I'm sure all of you already mastered that to the max. So this is the three most important things on how to make clickable pins. You have to talk about and show the benefits of your product. Ideally, you want to use a short video, and you have to use bright colors. Now, there's two tactics when it comes to colors, because color is the most important thing that you can do to get noticed on Pinterest, because you know what it Pinterest, when you open the page, you see a lot of photos on a page, right? So you have to be one that stands out. So you have to be relevant to what the person is searching, but at the same time, you have to stand out somehow. So the two strategies are as follows. First of all, if you know the most of the colors you used for specific keywords, you can either blend to that if this gives you relevance, or you can do the exact opposite so that people spot you between all the others. So let me give you an example. If you search for anything on Pinterest, you will see that just below the search bar, there are keywords which are relevant to the search term, but also they have a background which is actually what is the most used colors for this keyword in the pins. So if you look for sky, you're going to notice a palette of colors that are, of course, blue, and like some sunshines and sunrise and so on, relevant to this keyword. If you look for sun, you're going to see that the background is a little bit more warm. And forest, for example, will be the shades of green. So when you're designing a pin, this is the best intelligence that you can get, is search on Pinterest and get a sense of what this product category, like if you look for a spatula, for example, you're going to see a lot of grays, or if it's a wooden spatula, it will be like a lot of wood colors. So look for that information, and imagine we look for a forest like this and it's all green, and then all of a sudden we have something that is yellow. So this will pop up when someone is looking for the product. So this is the first tip, is to get this color and use it for designing. So for example, look at this orange over here on the font of all the others. So if you look for a spatula cake, and Reese is using this bright orange, and just pops up on the screen, versus all the others look like a mess. You have to really focus on each one of them to really understand what it is. All right, so exclusive contribution is something very important. This is why we can't just go and post our images from Amazon, because it's more likely they're already on Amazon, pinned by someone else. So this will not give you any ranking juice on Pinterest. You will not show up high in the results. And Pinterest has the most, maybe the most advanced search engine. There is visual search engine, and they use that a lot to see if you have an exclusive design or not. So make sure that you search your image first and make sure that it's not there before you post it. All right, so here is how to teach your VA to design clickable pins. Or maybe if you have one or two products, you can make them yourself. So I'm going to show you a few designs and let me know what you think. Do you think these are beautiful designs? I'm going to teach you exactly how to do the same. These are some examples of what we're creating on Pinterest when we post. You can notice the format that we're using and the content. And let's go and start the process of creating these pins. So at the end of this presentation, you'll be able to create similar to these ones, or as I said, if you communicate that information to your VA, they will be able to create pins like this for your products. So very simple rules. You have to use maximum of 2 main colors for the pin. If not, it becomes too complicated for the eye. You have to use a maximum of 2 different fonts. One should be serif and one non-serif. So the serif means with this all like curly stuff around, like Georgia, or non-serif is Arial, for example, standard font. You have to have enough white space around all the elements so that it can be easy on the eyes. And then lastly, for all the elements that are combined on the pin, there has to be some unification, some smooth transitions between the elements. So let's look one of the pins that I just saw previously. So we have the image, for example, that is coming from Amazon, and then we have two main colors. So one is yellow and the other one is coming from the product itself. Then we have enough space in between to make it breathe. It answers the question what it is, and then it has a unification element, like a transition between the different graphic elements on that pin. And then we have call to action and answers the question why buy. So these are the most important elements that you have to have on every single pin, which gives the reason for someone to buy, and on the same time it looks appealing to the eye. Let's look at another one. The same thing, you have two images from Amazon, you have enough white space in between, you have the two different fonts with the transition element in between, call to action, and answer the question what it is and why buy. And third, for luck and a different style, you can see that it starts with explaining what it is, white space in between, transition, call to action, why to buy, and the transitional elements. So if you're interested in this thing, I have a video that explains slowly and one step by step that basically I'm sending to my VAs to create these pins. So I can share that with you, no problem. All right, so let's see how to create the URL, because we've seen how to create the pin, we've seen how to create the account, how to optimize it for ranking on Pinterest and for Google, and so on. So the last part is how to create properly your URL that you can use on Pinterest without getting penalized by Amazon. So traditionally, of course, what we've done is we can use a hidden keyword URL in there or some super URL, whatever. But this is not the case anymore. By using the structure that I just explained to you, we're actually embarking in what I call the contextual ranking, which means is that when the traffic comes from Pinterest to Amazon with all the data that is on that pin, which means the keywords in the title, the bullet points, and Amazon can see that information, which is inside the referrer. They can see the information that this user is coming from a relevant source with keywords that are relevant to the content, and it's coming directly to Amazon, and then clicks, let's say, add to buy. This add to cart. This gives you the same ranking juice as if you're using a special URL, for example. So this is what it's called contextual ranking, is you have the information that Amazon needs in the URL that points, in the referrer that points back to Amazon. So that's very important. You don't need to trick anymore. You don't need to think about how can I sneak this URL? How can I make this somehow hidden so they can't track back to me, and so on. All right, back to the URL. Quickly to explain that on an Amazon page, the most important part regarding ranking is always on the right side. Like, for example, we know that if you go to a page and you look at the images, there's some ranking juice coming to it. If you go and click on the ratings and some stuff, you contribute some ranking to that ASIN as well. But the buy box and the share box on the right side give us the most juice. So anything that is to the right As you know, Amazon is probably the most advanced landing page in the world ever developed and tested and everything since 1996. So they've came up with this landing page that's been unchanged largely for most part for many, many years because of its effectiveness. So Pinterest, you can see, is on the rightest side on that, which now you understand that has a lot of importance. Like, we don't see a YouTube or some other platforms, or like we don't see Reddit, anything. We have Pinterest here. Specifically, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And Pinterest is on the right side. All right. So quickly to explain why is this important is because I mentioned they want security of the transaction, of the ranking transaction. They don't want manipulation, right? So this is why when you land on the page, Amazon will generate this token. So you can see down below, it's encoded information which shows Amazon that this has been generated from the platform, and this information is saved on the server as soon as you go and, let's say, click on some of the elements. Basically, they're tracking you if you're not manipulating the algorithm. And this is why it's important. So we do that in the correct sequence. So this is what it looks like. You can examine this in the console. If you click on the Pinterest, you'll see that it generates an interaction which is sent to the server, and then it shows the request ID, which they can then track. And of course, you can also see that they save where the mouse clicked exactly on the button, a little bit to the right, and so this is the pixels that show exactly where you clicked. Now that's why using bots and stuff like that is not working for a long time, because they make it very hard for them to work. So this is the token. The token basically means this person really went to the website and clicked on this Pinterest share icon instead of just going some other way, right? They've been on the page, they've seen the product, and they shared it. So this is what it looks like. Basically, we have to take that token. We have to look. I think I skipped something. Let me explain a little bit slower. I'm just too worried that I have too much information and I don't have enough time. The sequence is as follows. The first thing is you have to go and search for the keyword on Amazon. Then you're gonna have to go find your product. And once you do, you open that product, and then you click on the Pinterest icon. So this will guarantee that you actually have the specific token that will be beneficial for you. So you're gonna have to copy that token. So you can do right click, for example, on the Pinterest icon and copy the link, or you can just go to the console if you're familiar with that and copy it from there. It doesn't matter. So you copy that information, and then you can use either the share URL that is given directly from that button, or you can do a canonical URL, which is beneficial for Google ranking. So you can see that the field over here have to be empty. Like you haven't actually used any keywords to trick Amazon, to manipulate the algorithm. You're just going to use the token. That's the important part for you. And then you can add the token, and you can add. Sorry, I had to remove this. I forgot to remove the keyword. So you should never use. This slide shows you what not to use as the last. So you don't have to use a K equals at the end. You just use the relevant phrase for the canonical URL. And of course, you can use your attribution tag in there. And if you're planning not to use Pinterest advertising, you can use your affiliate tag. And on the attribution, make sure that you turn on the add to cart in the available columns so that you can track the add to carts coming from this Pinterest, and make sure that you organize your attributions so that you can track which traffic is converting and which traffic is not converting when it comes to Pinterest. So name them Pinterest, account, product, and so on, so that you can easily find them. So this is what it looks like. It's Amazon, then you have the canonical URL, which we use for Google. And you can use any canonical URL. You can use main category. You can use your exact canonical URL that you've been given for the listing, so that you can make that even more relevant on Google and help it ranked, or anything that you research in here. And then you have the attribution and the affiliate and I forgot putting here the Pinterest tag, but you should have your refer from Pinterest over here. All right. Anyways, if you have any trouble after, make sure to connect with me and I'll help you figure out the whole thing. All right. So what we have so far. So you have to search for your listing. You have to click on the pin and pin the graphic, and then click on the pin and visit your listing, and then copy the URL. Yeah, I also forgot to delete this part. You should never use keywords anymore. And then create the rank pin and use this URL for using an exclusive graphic on Pinterest. I know it became a little bit of a mess at the end because I forgot all these things, but hopefully you get this right. All right, so strategy number one, which is using Reddit. So Reddit has a massive amount of traffic, as you know, and there's subreddits, which are basically like groups on Reddit, which can be a lot of times very relevant to the product that you're selling. So one of my favorite places for this is called Interesting as Fuck. And right now they have 9 million members. And you can see at any given time, there's like 20,000 and more online visitors to this Reddit. People like going every single day to see interesting stuff on Reddit. There are many groups like this on Reddit that you can join, and you can even create your own group, of course, for your niche or your specific product. But finding a big group like this, whereas there's a high interaction and that is very relevant to your product, is very beneficial if you have something that, of course, fits in this group. So because I'm designing products that are interesting and innovative, this group is a good fit for me, but it might not be a very good fit for you. But if it's not, maybe it's a good time now to think about how to create your product, how to update your product so that it becomes a good fit for this group, because this can change your long-term game big time. You know how many thousands of people are joining every day, like sellers on Amazon, and we have to compete with them. So one of our strategies is always keep ahead, like what we can do in our product 3 or 6 months ahead so that we can stay competitive. So these big groups, of course, are also used by advertisers, and even you can see Amazon advertises in here. And you can advertise in this group as well. So here's an example of a post in this group, which is airbag helmet, for example. And you can see the interaction that it gets, something like that. It has 12,000 upvotes here and 140,000 views and 800 comments. Of course, we don't have, not all of us has interesting products like this, but even 1/3 and 1/10 of this interaction, it can increase a lot of your business. Right. So if you want to research a little bit more about Reddit or use Reddit as a research tool, these are my favorite tools. So BrandWatch is the one, and Gummy Search is the other one. And basically, you can research subreddits and all kinds of interesting statistics on Reddit, which itself is very interesting, so that you can improve your existing products, or if you're planning to develop a new product, if you're in the research phase, for example, you should definitely use these tools. And my last strategy is Kickstarter. So Kickstarter is, of course, known by many of you, but many people think that you have to have like a real invention to use it. But it's not always the case. In this presentation, I'm going to show you a Kickstarter Spotlight, which is basically a landing page that they give you, and you have full control of that landing page after you have a successfully created campaign. So the trick here is basically to create a successful campaign on Kickstarter, and then they will give you this landing page where then you can then use to point back to Amazon. So this is what it looks like. So you can customize your page, you can tell your story, and then you can direct your fans to whatever you want. And you can update that every day if you like. Like one day you can decide to point that to Amazon, and the other day you can decide to point that to your own website. So what are the advantages of creating a Kickstarter campaign? Because even for the smallest product, this is not a very simple task. But anything that is not simple, of course, has a lot of advantages. So the advantages are that you can start big instead of rotating inventory. Like a lot of people start with 100 units and then they have to scale back to 10,000, for example, and it can take you years to get to that level. With Kickstarter, you get the money upfront. And not only the money, but all the feedback from the users that actually guarantee that you're going to have a successful product. You basically going to have the buying power to start ordering thousands units on the day of the launch versus starting slow and then gradually increasing it. You can patent protect your product either with a utility or design patent or some other way before you even start selling it, which could be a big advantage, especially if you have something more interesting to offer. It gives you a strong reputation and presence online. These Kickstarter campaigns that are successfully funded, they get so much popularity, they get so much press release that you can't even buy this if you're trying. There's naturally a lot of marketplaces and journalists that are looking specifically for products on Kickstarter. You can get into Amazon Launchpad and use the advantages of premium A+ content, their newsletters, and so on. And you have the contact information of all the people that supported you. Plus, you get, as I mentioned, tons of constructive criticism, which you can use to improve your product before it starts selling, and you get retail orders for years to come. So these are some of my products personally these are actually from 2014 when I was just playing around. And you can see this in Canadian dollars, but I still got like $20,000 for very simple products like this that I was just basically experimenting just before starting, doing some more serious stuff later. And you can see without any efforts, I could get $20,000. So that surely helps to start developing a new product. And this is not using any advertising, without having upfront email list or anything like that. I don't even have like a video to present for this. Like minimal efforts. You can see in this campaign, for example, get like 1,000 backers, which end up in 24,000. That's like close to 20,000 US dollars. And that's a lot of power for just a simple product to start, to have 1,000 people behind you, to give you feedback, to support you. A lot of these people are getting back and leave you a review without even asking them, because you've been already interacting with them in a completely different level. They're not just buyers on Amazon, they're supporters. So this is the overview of the strategy. So the big question is, how do I start a Kickstarter campaign without knowing anything about it? And it's actually very simple. So first of all, you have to think of some cool way how you can improve your design or your product in general. And as I mentioned, it's a good thing to have already, because if tomorrow you're gonna get like 30, 100 new competitors on that exact same niche, you're gonna have to have something, some advantage that is more than just having the most reviews and so on. So once you have, I mentioned, if you can't think of a cool way to improve your product, I'll share with you my blueprint that I'm personally using, that I developed for myself, that has a number of questions that I go through, which helps me to come up with these design ideas and ways to improve the product. And so you just think, how can I make this competitive? What will, for example, look like in the future, or something like that? Can you combine something? How can you improve the design of it? And with that information, when you have this idea, you create the Kickstarter campaign, and then you invite all of your friends and family, and even me, I will support you. And this spikes the algorithm enough in the first few days when you do that it drives it higher in the results on Kickstarter. And then from there, it picks up organically and gets more interest and more supporters. And of course, you can do a lot more to this campaign. I'm talking about the simplest possible way how you can do that, so that you can get the landing page. So once this Kickstarter campaign is 100% backed, so you put the minimum goal possible for the campaign, and then you ask all your friends to support you, and you explain to them that they don't even need to have interest in this product to support you, that actually they can cancel their support right before the end of the campaign, and they will not even be charged, but this will help you a lot with your ranking. So once you have this supported, and let's say you have like $2,000, $3,000, or $5,000, but it's still your Kickstarter campaign is it's fully funded, it's successful. In other words, you achieved your goal and it's successful, and then of course you have to deliver the promised rewards. But once you have that, you have a landing page that is worth gold on Google, and not only on Google, this landing page will be visited thousands and thousands of times by retailers that are looking for interesting products, by websites like Gadget Flow and anything similar to that. Basically, a huge amount of traffic of potential buyers. So the Kickstarter campaigns that I showed you in 2014, still today, I get orders from all over the world from this. I get emails from people interested in this product, and a lot of these products I'm not even selling anymore on Amazon, but I still ship them directly from China to their warehouses of these retailers and interested websites, for example, that sell gadgets and interesting products. So there's a lot of benefits. Actually, one of the Kickstarters got me approved in Walmart. If I wasn't in Kickstarter in the first place, Walmart will not be even interested in talking the retailer, like really selling on the shelf, not the Walmart.com. So Kickstarter can have a lot of benefits, and if you think that your product can be something that can be innovative and interesting, even on the level of just design, it's a must to have. All right, so if, of course, before you do that, you have to go and familiarize yourself with the rules, because you can't just get a private label and put it on Kickstarter. It has to be somehow innovative, it has to be somehow improved so that it gets accepted. So make sure that you read all the rules before we get to that one. And this is the simple secret that I already explained to you, how to create the successful and how you can rank this and then get results. And sometimes you get surprised. One of my projects was really like on a drawn on a napkin. It was just an idea, and it was black and white. And I put it on Kickstarter, no video, no high-end images, and it still get tens of thousands of dollars from supporters just because they like the idea.